Hey Nancy Drew fans, we're back for Book 10, Password to Larkspur Lane. I'm filming on location from the Bellamar Hotel in Manhattan Beach, but I'll be back to the library next week. Published in 1933 and revised in 1968, this is the last of 3 books that was authored by Walter Carrig, ghostwriting as Carolyn Keene. This book is a little longer than most, at 175 pages, leaving more time for action, character development, and also some returning characters from previous mysteries. This book gets off to a rather strange start, as Nancy and Hannah are out in the garden picking some of Nancy's prize-winning larkspurs for a local contest. The first line of the book begins, "If this were 2,000 years ago," but Nancy's cut off when a plane overhead loses its engine and starts to fall from the sky. Nancy's more interested in a carrier pigeon that's apparently been hit by the plane, and she deciphers a code that the pigeon is carrying, so she's off on a new mystery. This first chapter includes a number of fun facts about homing pigeons, and later on in the book we get to meet the secretary of the local chapter of the International Federation of American Homing Pigeon Fanciers. As Nancy is inspecting the pigeon for broken bones, Hannah prompts her to continue her thought from page 1. Nancy smiled. "I was thinking that if I had lived 2,000 years ago, I might have been a Grecian maiden, and in that case, I might be praying right now in the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. I always imagine flowers around there, maybe delphinium, that's another name for larkspur." We also get our first picture of Hannah in this illustration of them in the garden. Helen is now married, so when her grandparents are plagued by a part of the mystery, it is up to Nancy, Bess, and George to stay with them because, as her grandmother puts it, Helen's place is now with her husband. Helen does still try to help out, but she ends up screaming in fright at an inappropriate moment, temporarily scaring away the criminals that Nancy's trying to catch. Nancy really has no time for timid girls. Later in the story, she is in a car with Hannah's young cousin Effie, and they are trying to track down the carrier pigeon to see where it's headed. "Oh, we mustn't lose it," Nancy exclaimed. She stopped the car and scanned the sky. Effie gulped. "I'm sorry, I can't see him. Oh, I could cry." "Well, don't," Nancy commanded. The main criminal in this story has a personal vendetta against Nancy's dad, Carson Drew, and he spends a lot of time lurking around in the shadows telling Nancy to back off. Nancy's dad actually also suggests that she give up on this mystery at one point, but he quickly backs down. "Nancy, my first concern is for your safety. You are more important to me than all the mysterious old ladies in the world." Nancy's face showed her disappointment. "Oh, please, Dad, no." Mr. Drew looked uncomfortable. I know. You're like me. You'll never be satisfied until you lick the problem. Go ahead." Nancy again proves that she's extremely capable of taking care of herself. She tracks down her own purse snatcher, and she also is able to get herself out of a pitch-black, 8-foot-deep cistern using only a rusty nail that she uses to carve out individual hand and footholds. Some pretty typical dinners, including chicken, hot biscuits, and sweet pickles, and also steak, potatoes, green beans, and watermelon. I think this is the first time that we haven't had any dessert mentioned. For outfits, Nancy wears a simple rose-colored formal dress and a gardenia in her hair to a dance with Ned. Ned's eyes filled with mischief. "You don't expect me to look at this, do you, when I could be looking at you?" Nancy blushed and laughed. "Please be serious," she said. I think we have our worst case of elitism yet when Nancy is awarded with a shiny new convertible. Apparently her old one had been pretty dented. Next up, the clue of the broken locket.